Hey there, it's Mindfulness Monday, and today we're going to talk about masks. Mask wearing is here to stay for a little bit. It's required in our host nitrogen country, Italy, and also on our garrison in a variety of locations, including the commissaries, schools, also stores and restaurants, and even at other places when we can't socially distance properly. All of you know why we're wearing masks. It's because of COVID-19, to keep those respiratory droplets and that airborne transmission, to protect ourselves and to protect other people. But a lot of us don't like wearing masks. Some people say they're uncomfortable, they're hot, they can't breathe well, they can't communicate well, but it looks like they're here to stay. So let's talk today about some ways that we might be able to improve our breath quality and also reduce stress if we find ourselves in a stressful situation with our breath. There are some people who have compromised breathing due to health conditions. There are also some people for whom previous trauma makes it really hard for them to wear a mask and to have their breath, to have that barrier between them and their breath. In both those situations, please talk to your medical team about how to protect yourself and other people during this time period. But most of the rest of us, even if we don't like the mask, we can breathe better in masks. We can breathe well. We can do what we need to do in our lives. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about that. The experts say we are totally able to get enough air with our surgical masks, also with our reusable, washable masks. So what happens though is that we are disrupting our regular breath pattern. Some of us are breathing with our mouth open rather than through our nose. Some of us are breathing more shallowly, quickly. And so all of these abnormal breath patterns trigger the body to think that there is not enough oxygen, there is not enough air. And so we get stressed, we have a stress type reaction. We are able to reset our bodies. We've been talking about what we can do with our bodies and with mindfulness throughout this whole period since the beginning of March when we started Mindfulness Monday. So we are able to do this work with our breath. So we're going to talk today about two techniques. We're going to talk about belly breathing and box breathing. First, we're going to talk about belly breathing. And belly breathing is a technique that is actually recommended almost like training. It's like another exercise thing we should be doing. We could do 5 minutes of it twice a day, in the morning and the evening, and improve our breaths throughout the day and our respiratory capacity. So what we want to do here is we're going to focus in on breathing in through the nose and pursing our lips as we exhale. We'll go through it together. I'll talk to you about it a little more, but we want to fill up the belly. We're going to put a hand here so we can feel it and remind ourselves. And we're going to put a hand on our chest because we don't want to breathe with our chest. We want to fill up the belly this time. When we breathe in, we're going to slowly take in air through that nose and fill up that belly. And then we're going to exhale, okay? And you can do this sitting up, and that's what I'm going to do. You can also do it standing. You can do this in line in the post office. You can also do it laying down with your knees bent, your feet on the floor, which is a really nice way to do that, to start the day or end the day. So let's do some together. I'll talk to you a little bit more as we get started. But first, just taking a big deep breath in through that nose, releasing it through the mouth, exhaling with pursed lips. Okay, you guys keep going here with your breath, and I'll talk to you about just a little bit more about it. So as we're breathing in, inhaling, we want to think about smelling that first coffee of the day or something like that. Big breath in. And as we're exhaling, we are blowing out a lot of candles on that birthday cake. So you really want to elongate that. And that's going to help your body to get the quality of air and the breaths you need. So again, 5 minutes a day, twice a day is what's recommended for that. Now we're going to talk about box breathing, which can also improve the quality of our breathing and of our breath and our mask wearing. It can also be a way to deal with stress. So if you have stress or anxiety, if you start to feel you're getting stressed or anxious, you can take this technique and you can use that. You can do it with the mask on. You can also find a safe place to go where you can take the mask off and breathe for a few minutes. It's called box breathing because we're going to look at 4 parts of the breath, and it's like a box. The first is our inhale. And then we have a pause where we're holding air, we've brought it in and we're holding it here. Then we have an exhale. And then we have a pause again before we bring it back in, before we inhale again. So while doing this, if you have any issues around breath restriction, that's a stressful place for you, this may not be for you. Also, you can skip the pauses if that is part of what brings you stress. But we're going to try that. People will try a square. So they're looking for example, 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out, 4 counts hold. Other people will try more of a rectangle. And a lot of people also will have maybe a 4 counts breathe in, a couple counts hold, but then a longer exhale, which is more like our natural breath pattern. We usually exhale for a longer time than we inhale. So let's try this together. Find a comfortable place and I will talk you through it as we start. But we're breathing in through the nose, holding here at top, and exhaling. Again, let's use those pursed lips. Once you have all that air out, pausing for a second here, okay? Now we're taking it in again. Holding here, exhaling through the mouth, pursed lips. All right, so you can play with that. You can find what works for you. Try the square, try the rectangle, try the pauses or don't. But doing that kind of breath can really help you. And the one more thing I want to tell you is it might be a nice thing to try. It might be like a mindfulness practice. Also, it's just a breath reminder to try and take 5 good breaths, 5 breaths before we put the mask on. Maybe like the ones we just did, maybe boxes, maybe bellies. Then 5 breaths once we have that mask on. And then when you do take it off, take 5 more. And you're going to be retraining your body to breathe more efficiently. So thank you so much for being here today. Be kind to each other. Remember that we're wearing masks for protecting each other as well. Okay, ciao.